All right. Welcome back to Mastodon Comics and Music. This is episode 1 of season 2 of the Cover to Cover show. I'm here with my co-host, as always, Hialeah Comic Bro and Jim from Boatright, Family and Comics.
Thanks
How you
for
guys
having
doing?
me. Doing great. Thanks for having me, Donnie. I love being on your show, buddy.
Absolutely.
Highlight of my day, for sure.
Awesome. Glad to have you.
Thanks.
So sorry we're late. That's what happens when you get to shooting the shit backstage.
Yeah.
Deep conversation, really.
Yeah, we were getting deep backstage.
But tonight we have The Doors' first album, and I just told these two guys that I actually have 2 of those, and that was unintentional. A woman I worked with, she had stuff that was from her dad. She brought him in, and she said, "What do you want to give me for these?" So I gave her a price, and I said, "Take it or leave it." Give me a stack of Doors records, and there was all the Batman show from the 60s.
Oh, the 66.
The soundtrack.
Nice.
That ended up over at my buddy's, who's a tattoo artist. I said, "Hey, this might be a little better in your hands than in mine." He said, "Absolutely." So I dropped it off to shop to him. But in that stack was 2 copies of the Doors' first album, but other than that, I have
the box set.
The box set.
Sweet.
So I guess you could say I'm a fan.
Yeah.
But anybody who is looking into the Doors, this is how you do a box set, especially a studio box set, because these things are just
That's nice.
freaking great. 2 CDs on each one, and they got the booklet.
Sweet.
So,
What's the what's the second CD?
The second CD is actually a DVD.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So video content on there is break on through music video, what you could call a music video back in those days, and the soundstage performance in Toronto of The End.
Nice.
So it's definitely not a Whiskey a Go-Go performance, but
Nice. That's cool.
we'll get into that.
Your coworker's dad had some good taste.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have that album on vinyl, and I had LA Woman, which is another phenomenal album on vinyl.
I believe that one was in the stack too. I can't remember. I don't think all of them were in the stack, but I think Strange Days, The Soft Parade, and I believe LA Woman were the other records. It wasn't all of them. What's that?
I've never had a Doors album. I've had their greatest hits CDs. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, but not single albums, not like that.
Dude, when I was in middle school, I was obsessed with the Doors. And me and my buddy, he went out and because he had got a little part-time job, and he bought this like box set of the Doors, but it wasn't like studio box set. It was I forget what it was, but it was pretty much like a box set of like all the either outtakes or like rehearsal recordings before they got like remastered or they changed certain things. Some things might have been without the keyboard, and some would have been. They're basically like rough recordings, before the final. And man, that thing was awesome, man. So hearing some of those songs that, like a completely different song but same song, it was great, man. And plus, back in those days, I was dabbling in a little bit of this and that, so it kind of just made it sound even better.
It seems like we all have, at least me and you have the same story. I heard of oh my God, Light My Fire, and I would hear that when I was younger and all that. But when I moved out on my own for the first time, I had buddies over and all that, and yeah, that was my experience. And one of them was really into the Doors, and that's when it, opened up my eyes and
Yeah.
the dabbling into certain things. And it was like, there's one song in particular, and it's on this album that I want to talk about that with. So about that specific
Awesome.
term with.
So I can relate with you on that one.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you.
All right. I got my notes, but I got to find them. All right. Before we get too deep into it, we'll do a little background information. This was their first album, obviously, and it was released on January 4th of 1967. So occasionally it gets lumped in with the Summer of Love albums, even though it came out in January. So, but it's actually came out at the beginning of that year. Elektra Records, which was big time back then, they or semi big time. Elektra Records was like the lower tier because I believe they were kind of starting to get rolling.
Mm-hmm.
It was recorded over a month period between the end of August and the end of September of '66 at Sunset Sound Recorders. And I did a little research on Sunset Sound Recorders. Was a studio, was like a hodgepodge of different studios that were built by the music director for Walt Disney.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of the early stuff, such as, where's it at? Bedknobs and Boomsticks, Mary Poppins, 101 Dalmatians, the soundtracks were recorded at those studios.
Wow.
Went on eventually and was purchased by another studio. But over 200 gold records have been recorded in this particular place. Bands like other than the Doors, Janis Joplin recorded there. I believe Love recorded there.
Is it still around?
Yes. It does. It's not under that same name.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. It is called. It was purchased by the Sound Factory. Was the name of the other company. And it is called Sunset Sound. Yeah, the two studios now are called Sunset Sound and the Sound Factory. The other studio was called Moonglow Records. It was produced by Paul Rothchild, and Paul Rothchild went on to produce, I believe, the rest of their stuff.
Okay.
I think he produced all of their records. I did look him up. He's known for producing people like Neil Young, Janis Joplin, Love, Tim Buckley, Paul Butterfield. I think he did. Where is it? Yeah. And he also produced the soundtrack for the Oliver Stone movie, The Doors.
Oh, wow.
He was kind of knee deep in
the Doors.
In this group. What did it say here? It said, and he also appeared in that film.
Oh, okay.
So
I need to watch that again. It's been too long since I've watched it.
It's been quite a while since I watched it. I have that too.
Yeah.
They were initially signed to Columbia to record but Columbia failed to secure a producer, and they asked to be released from their contract, which is I'm sure that was unheard of, because once you landed a record deal, you wanted to keep a hold of that record deal.
You would think, right?
But they actually asked to be released from it, and after being released from that record contract is when they began their residencies throughout the year of '66 at the London Fog and the Whiskey A Go Go. The owner of the Whiskey A Go Go had seen them at the London Fog, and that's how they ended up being the house band at the Whiskey. And then they were spotted by the president of Elektra playing at the Whiskey. So this begat this and begat this, and then we have the Doors. But it's interesting because it was recommended. He was there on a recommendation from Arthur Lee of the band Love. So it's all full circle.
Yeah.
Because then Holtzman called Rothschild up and said, "Hey, you got to come see this band." And it was about a week later they were getting ready to record, or they signed the deal, and then a week after that, well, the infamous performance that got them canned
from there, right?
From the Whiskey. I always got a kick out of that. There's so many infamous stories of shenanigans that
I forgot I had this.
Yeah.
I just realized my drink was on this, bro.
Here you go, Dave.
That's just a few years down the road.
I just realized not one of those moments.
Is that his arrest after he supposedly exposed
himself? Yeah.
Yeah,
that's when he exposed himself.
I actually bought this, I think, at SuperCon. Some guy was selling coasters, and I was like, "This is the one I'm getting, dude." Yeah, it's from.
That's badass, dude. I love it.
Yeah, I had to get it.
Absolutely, damn, I agree.
I didn't even remember that. Cool. It seems like everybody has a friend that gets them into the Doors.
Yeah.
Deep into the Doors.
I didn't have a friend that got me into the Doors. It was actually my aunt. It was indirectly through my aunt.
That's even cooler.
The first Doors song that I heard, and it's my favorite song to this day, is "People Are Strange," because I had my parents had a stack of 45s, and that was one of the 45s that I listened to, and my mom says, "Oh, that was your aunt's," and I said, "Oh, wow." Unexpected, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah, my first introduction was, some of my family, a couple different members of my family owned bars when I was a kid. So I spent a lot of time in bars and lounges, and you hear all them jukebox songs and stuff. So "Light My Fire" and "Break On Through" were the ones that I heard first. And then when the movie came out, I remember asking my mom if we could rent it, and looking back, it's like some of the stuff my mother rented for me, I'm like, gee, I'm like, holy crap, especially after umpteen decades that I went back and watched Toxic Avenger. I'm like, dang, my mother rented this for me from the video. Oh, holy cow. But after watching the movie and stuff like that, and so by the time I got into middle school, actually it was about 5th grade, between 5th grade, 6th grade, somewhere right around there, is when I kind of caught on to the Doors and just started liking them and stuff. And then by the time I was in high school, I was like all about the Doors, this, that, and the other. But yeah, middle school is when it took off. And I had a close friend. He was obsessed with Jim Morrison, you know. He had the posters on his walls. And I remember, you know, as a kid, my older cousin, he had the famous Jim Morrison poster on his wall with no shirt. And so that was my introduction to it.
Yeah. I remember a few kids with t-shirts of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I was in middle school. I had my mom take me to the craft store, and I bought, you know, the white, red, and black beads. And I sit there because I had the poster too, and I counted the beads on his necklace, and I made the same exact necklace as him, you know. And then my buddy, my best friend, you know, he was always wearing leather pants and this thing. Man, it was something else.
That is too cool. I never got into them until I was like in my early 20s. That's when I really got introduced to them. I heard them, but for some reason, when I was growing up, it sounded old. I don't know if I didn't appreciate the organ or, you know, that, because nothing sounded like them, right? So it always sounded old to me until I was old enough to really appreciate it. It's just, you know, they actually one of my favorite remakes is the oh my god, I always blank out. It's the Light My Fire remake by oh my god, this Latin guy. Oh, I can't believe I forget. You guys haven't heard that remake? It's by
Can't say that I have.
I bet you Gore knows. If you're still watching, I can't think of the guy's name. Oh my god. I'll look it up. But that was so awesome. It's the remake to Light My
Jose
Feliciano.
Yeah.
You guys have never heard his remake?
I can't say that I have.
I think I have.
Dude, it's famous. I think I
have heard it.
It is super famous. It's not his most famous song. His most famous song is Feliz Navidad. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Feliz Navidad.
Right.
But his remake of Light My Fire is one of my all-time favorite remakes. And I would hear that, and I go, oh my God, that's better than the original. I freaking love it. And I still do. But I don't think that way anymore. You know? Especially when he goes and looks at the camera and he puts, oh my God, dude, he just knew what worked, bro. Jim Morrison. He just knew what worked. Yes, that one. Yes, Light My Fire. Light My Fire. Light My Fire. Light My Fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I think I have heard that version.
It's very underrated, man. It's really it was like a whole remake album, I believe he came out with, and he just did all these. They weren't even classics. It was only a few years after the original came out.
Also, he goes way back, huh?
Oh yeah. I think he's in his 70s now.
Yeah, he had a long career.
Super,
yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I kind of diverged. Sorry.
No. Because it's in the history of that that stuff. I mean, it's I've never heard of Will Young, but apparently he also did a cover in the early 2000s. I don't recognize all Pop Idol, so I'm not familiar with him, but forgot where I was going. The Doors, like the Cars, are bands I discovered when I was a kid listening to the radio, but there was something blindly threatening about the music. Break On Through, The End. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Those three right there in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But and Break On Through, just that organ intro.
So good, right?
Kind of sets the tone of the album.
Yeah.
It's just great. I mean, you know it's the Doors right away.
Yes.
When you hear Manzarek's organ, you know it's them right away.
You know it's the Doors, and they're breaking down the doors when that song comes on, dude.
Yeah,
it is so good. What a great What a great first song for a band.
Yeah. And
that's one of those songs. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say it's a great metaphor, just like
that. What I was going to say was that's one of those songs that every time you see a Vietnam War movie, man, it's like, and then you hear it on when you hear the song again, like just like CCR, you know.
Yes.
You hear CCR, I'm automatically thinking Vietnam, walking through the jungles and Huey helicopters flying.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and those songs came out right at the highest points of that war. It was, you know. But yeah, light my fire. That goes along with their penchant for getting fired from things, because you guys know the Ed Sullivan story, don't you?
Yeah, man.
How they were
bad boys.
Producers wanted him to change the lyrics. What's that?
They were just bad boys. Yeah, they wanted him to change the lyrics, and then
he says, no. And he gets in the camera and says, "Fire!"
So good, bro. That guy. Oh my god!
Talk about raising the middle finger to them.
Shit. He just knew, and it just worked, man. It was the whole persona. He just knew what was gonna carry over, even though he was gonna piss some people off. It was gonna work in the end, and it was gonna work out.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely one of the early outlaws, you know, of music.
Yeah,
because I can't really think too many before him. I mean, Elvis kind of was an outlaw with his dancing and stuff like that, and they kind of censored him, but Jim Morrison was a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Courtesy of the drugs and stuff.
I was going to say maybe the only other person I can think of, maybe Johnny Cash.
That's who I was thinking. That's who I thought of.
The only other person I can think of.
That's who came to mind.
But you got to think too. That was probably right around. I mean, Johnny Cash had a persona, but he actually, he got in trouble with the law and stuff like that right around the same time as this album came out.
Right.
So I guess you could look at Cash as that too.
It was
just not as in your face.
Right. That was a moment of the floodgates opening, because then you had people like Iggy Pop and maybe Alice Cooper,
Sid Vicious from the Sex Pistols, man.
Sid Vicious,
yeah. Wasn't that guy something?
And Alice Cooper, he had the whole shock and awe.
Yeah. Break on through and Fortunate Son, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they used who is it? Francis Ford Coppola using the end in Apocalypse Now. To me, that is still the best use of a song in any movie I've seen. I know there's a lot of these gangster movies, and they play the Rolling Stones, and you could a gangster song, and they play the Rolling Stones, or they play this. But to me, the end in Apocalypse Now, when he first comes out of the water and it starts, it's like that whole sequence is just perfection. It's just perfection.
Yeah.
So more Vietnam. 10 years after.
Yeah.
More Vietnam. 1979. We're still gonna use the Doors. Because it was just their time.
Yeah.
It was just their time.
Yeah, I remember my father-in-law, he was telling me stories because he was in the Navy during Vietnam. And, he was telling me, they'd be jamming out on a lot of those songs because he was on a carrier. You get them stuff. He said, man, the guys would turn that stuff up and, just jamming out to that old stuff. Well, at the time, not old.
Yeah.
The hip thing.
The new stuff.
What's hip?
Did you hear this new song?
Yeah.
Look what they're doing while we're over here.
Bro, think about it. They didn't have like the Wi-Fi or nothing. It was just people getting it to them, and it's like, I guess smuggling it in, getting copies, and And
Yeah.
Right.
that's great. Like it was almost like probably contraband back then, right? Just getting the new stuff, people sending it in, mailing it to them, from here, in those care boxes, care letters, or whatever.
Yeah. It's one of those things that you had to know somebody who knew
Mhm.
somebody.
Yeah, freaking nuts. You want to go down the list of songs, or what else did you want to comment?
Yeah, we can go down here. I'll pull that
There's
up.
still more stuff to talk about as far as your notes, I imagine, right?
No, that was
Yeah.
the only notes that I took down. The only thing that was really pertinent. The only other thing that I was just thinking about would apply to going down through the songs. Let me.
Oh, it was
I need to
great.
share here.
Gore's saying at the
There we
end,
go.
no way it could be done today.
No.
And it was done 50 years ago, 50 some odd years ago. So imagine
54 years ago.
Yeah, imagine the impact, man. People were like, "What did he say? What is that?"
I don't know how well we can see those.
Yeah, because
Maybe
man,
if I
at
do
that time
that.
you got to think, man, the Beatles were getting into psychedelic, everybody's psychedelic and peace, love, and happiness, and
Yeah.
Jim Morrison was talking about killing his father and doing other things to his
To
mom.
his mother. And walk on down the hall.
Which is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
God.
Which is what we were talking about.
Dude was. I saw they just did I saw a piece on him that it's been 50 years since his death.
Yep.
That's crazy, man.
His woman just died, I think, last week or a week before that. Pam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The one I saw, they were talking to his sister, man, and she was younger than him, and she was like, "I didn't even know that was my brother when that was happening. It was just, but it was just Jim or Jim to me." And then I started seeing him all over the place, and it was like, "That's my brother," and
Yeah.
you could still see the pain in her longing for him, even all these years later, man. It was nice to hear her talking about it, but it was sad at the same time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Nope.
There it is. That's what I was going to bring up. The Oedipus complex in the song, which is what got them fired from the whiskey. But hey, really, that couldn't have happened in a better time, because 3 days later is when they went into the studio to record the album. And the thing that I pulled out of earlier out of this book that is going to be the centerpiece of the season. They said when they were recording the end, where's it at? Whoops, went by it. When they were recording the end, while he was going through his, I guess if you want to call it a tangent or whatever during the song, Jim looked at Bruce Botnick, the engineer, and Bruce was sitting there and had a TV and was watching a baseball game. And Jim went over and he took the TV and smashed it on the floor. And Bruce and Paul just sat there like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Dude, that cover still holds up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That cover still holds up, dude. It captures.
I mean, and it's the epitome of the albums that we saw that came out of the 60s. There was just that certain style, even the back cover with the kind of the lineup.
Yeah.
Not to mention, it's probably one of the few bands ever that didn't have a bass player.
Mm-hmm. Nobody
Right.
sounds like them, right?
No.
Nobody.
No, Manzarek used his organ to provide the bass
The
tones.
bass, yeah.
Now, from what I understand during the recordings, they used
The studio.
In the studio, they used
yeah.
a bass. They had bass overdubs to give it more punch and add to his keyboard bass. But Larry Connectal was that who provided the bass on that.
That album cover kicks ass.
It does.
It does.
Even how they did their name, the basically their name is like a logo, the way it's written.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. When I was a kid, like I told you guys, when I was in middle school and stuff like that, I can't tell you how many folders or books I wrote that on.
I used to do that too, bro. I used to do Iron Maiden and AC/DC and I used to recreate their logos. Oh my God, Van Halen.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. And you would try to get it perfect. It was like, that was half my childhood in school, dude. That was freaking junior high. I got to a time where I would get pens and I would write it on my forearms. I would practice on my forearms. I was like, fuck, ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah, dude.
But each one of these songs has their own, I guess, uniqueness, but they all fit together like a ornate puzzle, maybe.
Yeah. It definitely flows.
And there is
everything flows great in that album.
Right. There's a flow, but I don't know that it's a noticeable flow. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, they fit. They just
and far as I can remember, all their albums were like that, man. They just had so many great songs from each album. Yeah, it's definitely a shame they didn't stick around a little longer.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's...
But then again, it might not have been the legacy, too. You never know.
That's what I was about to say, man. Maybe they just caught fire and it was just the way it was supposed to go. Because who knows what they would have became. If anything else, man, maybe this was like the Zenith,
Yeah.
They just burned bright. So freaking good. Yeah.
I was telling, we were talking backstage. I was saying to Jim about, I used to not like the Alabama song, just because it has that polka vibe. And it's just not. But I listened to it earlier in the week, and I was like, this song's kick ass.
The thing about it, that's the song I wanted to talk about. I used to hate that song, right? I would be like, dude, this song is stupid. But this was when I was a lot younger.
Yeah.
This song is so stupid. But when I started drinking and found alcohol and all that, it's a freaking dynamite song, dude. It's a song you play, you sing along with it with your buddies, and it's a great song. But man, I hated it. I used to hate it bad. I thought, just like you say, the polka and all that, I would go, boy, this song is so bad, and now it's so good.
But the Break On Through and Light My Fire were the only two singles. But I just feel there's a couple other tracks like Soul Kitchen and 20th Century Fox had single worthy status.
Yeah, especially
if they were going to release more singles for this.
Yeah,
Man.
especially 20th Century Fox definitely could have. And Take It As It Comes.
Oh yeah. God, this album.
Dude, it's like a greatest hits.
Man, and I can't tell you
Yeah.
with the song Crystal Ship, man,
I love that song.
that was my like chill out song.
I love that
You know,
song.
there was time when I
it's-
was that, you know, I get high and just sit and listen to that song and just chill, just vegetate, listen.
that song is what defines Jim as a poet,
Yeah.
in my opinion. That song and Moonlight Drive are the two songs that for me nail him down as a poet.
He was
And
my
it,
when I
Light
was
My
younger,
Fire,
he was a favorite poet of mine. I read his books and stuff like that, and man, I used to love his poetry.
Light My
Light My
Fire wasn't written by him, right? That was by
no, it was Krieger.
Densmore.
Robbie Krieger, yeah.
Krieger.
Yeah, Robbie Krieger. And according to Krieger, he had said that they were short on original material. So Jim said, it doesn't just have to be me. You guys can write songs too. I mean, you know, I'm not what's the word? I'm not creating a monopoly in the band.
Mm-hmm. and he came up with
Maybe
that.
not in those exact words.
And he came up with that, dude. That's a classic, right? That's an all-time song, right?
Oh man.
Cool.
That opening riff for Light My Fire, that's like even more than Break On Through, you know.
Yeah.
You hear that drum just drop, it hit the drum, hit the snare, and then the organ comes in. Jeez.
But dude, just classic songs, dude. You know what I wish? I wish people started using the word fox more. That's a great song for a chick.
It is.
It is, right? She's
I like Dame. I was always a fan of Dame.
Dame?
Yeah.
Dame is, I don't see it as like, I don't know if women like that, but it just sounds, she's like a tough chick, right? She's a dame, man. She's not a pushover. But a fox? Fox is great.
You know, a dame, any woman that doesn't like that word can just think of it this way: when a woman is knighted in the United Kingdom, they're called a dame.
A dame, yeah. Yeah, it's not derogatory or anything.
I mean, that's high. It's not royalty, but it's up there, you know.
Well, she's up there, yeah. Yeah, I like Dame. I like Fox.
But you notice those lasted, like Dame lasted through the 40s, I'm sure the 30s and 40s and stuff like that. And then Fox came, like I said, 60s, maybe 70s.
Yes.
And then at some point we went to Chick.
Yes.
And like we've been stuck on Chick, so I don't know if we're ever gonna leave the Chick.
It's been a long time, right?
Yeah,
there's other words, but Chick still pretty much. I know I still use Chick more than I use Fox. Yeah, Dame Helen Mirren. Yeah, perfect example. But I don't know if I was listening to that one like you guys were this week, and it was like, dude, Fox. I just like that. She's a fox, dude, and you know she's hot. You know she's hot.
Oh, nice. This might apply to what you said earlier.
That's the one that I saw. I saw that. It was great.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
It was on Sunday morning. Yeah, CBS Sunday morning.
I have to YouTube that, see if it's on there.
It's really good. It was really good. They talk about her. She talks about their father. And
he was an admiral in the Navy.
And how he handled or he thought of Jim and all this. And it's a really great interview. I enjoyed it too, Gore. It was great.
What was I reading earlier? They said that it had a slow start as far as like the singles. It's the Light My Fire stalled at 49, but then later picked on up.
It's a long song too, right? It's for a single, ain't it? Especially back
it went
over 6 minutes.
Standard radio play was
2 minutes.
Yeah, it's almost 7.
It's
Well, I know growing up listening to the radio and they would play Light My Fire, they would play an edited version that was shorter.
Yeah. AM radio, I think the standard it had to be less than 3 minutes, I think.
And it wasn't until I bought the album and listened to it that I realized that song was that long.
Right.
Same thing with the end. I even was hearing like edited versions of the end. I'm like, damn, that's a long song.
Dude, the end is favorite songs. What's your favorite song on this album, guys? Do you have one? It's hard.
That is very hard.
This one's hard.
You know, I always want to go to Light My Fire because that was like my introduction and that was the song that I fell in love with the Doors with. But I'm going to have to go with the end.
Dude, it's hard. I was going to say the end.
It is.
I was going to say the end because I truly love that song. I love it because of one of my favorite movies is Apocalypse Now. But man, I don't know. It's Break On Through is hard to go against, man. I don't know. I'm torn.
Yeah. I mean, I guess those are all the obvious choices, but I can't get Soul Kitchen out of my head.
Which is excellent as well, man.
Oh my God, it's such a great song.
Yeah, I mean, if we're picking songs that isn't so obvious as like the big hits, I would say Crystal Ship. I'm a big fan of.
Yeah. Yeah.
This one's tough. Dude, you know what? I'm gonna go with break on through.
Yes, she was,
and it hurts me to say that because I love the end.
We'll say the end.
No, I'm gonna go with break on through, man. Because it just starts and it just gets you going, and it's just
it's the mood.
It's just. I'm gonna go with break on through. I can't believe I'm saying that. I didn't think I would. Honestly.
It definitely sets the mood for the album, and
yes. You know the day, this day, the night.
Man, I couldn't imagine being alive back then and just picking up the album, not hearing that particular song per se, and then just playing it for the first time.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of the better opening songs to an album ever.
To an album ever, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
To a band. It's not just an album. The first song. You know, if you put on the album, let's say you never
it was their first single too.
Yeah, it's like
unless you had seen them in their residencies.
Yeah.
You know, you're listening to that for the first time.
It's like, oh
this
my
is killer.
God, what is this?
And that's just like what we talked about a little while ago, you know, how the whole album flows, you know, it's just like, if you try to picture any of those tracks in a different spot, to me, it ain't going to work. You know, if you put Light My Fire as the opening song, it'd be good, but Break On Through is the one that gets your ears to open up and get you listening.
Yeah.
And it's got that metaphor, that metaphor for, you know, they're breaking through and hey, we're the Doors. We're here.
Yeah. And who would think the Doors as a name of a band would work, right? It sounds so boring. The Doors, like the Beds.
Yeah.
You know, and it works. It's perfect.
But it's the name of a poem or a book. I can't remember.
The Doors of
Who the
Perception.
hell?
Perception, yeah.
That's it. The Doors of Perception. Hence, perception.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's say you didn't know
I
that,
can't
and
remember.
they just tell you you're gonna listen to the Doors. Really, the Doors? Well, you
Yeah.
can also say that about who is this? It's the Beatles. Really? But the Doors, man, this guy. Come on,
Ladies
it's
and
so-
gentlemen,
it's
the
so
Beatles.
boring.
Yeah, they had some weird names back in the 60s, you know, the Yardbirds and the Cricket, Buddy Holly. I mean, the Buddy Holly and the Crickets were 50s,
Yeah,
you know, but they had some weird names, like you said, the Beatles and
yeah. But
Paul
the
Revere and
Doors.
the Raiders.
yeah,
Oh yeah. But the Doors, man, it just sounds so. But then you get you. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Uh-oh. Internet's wonky. Whoops. We'll stop that. The album made it all the way to number 2. It peaked at number 2 in the Billboard.
What was number 1? Do we know that?
And
What beat out that album? That's what I'm curious.
It's probably nothing you've heard of or something.
Or the
you've
Beatles.
never-
probably.
Could have been the Beatles
It could have been the Beatles.
or the Stones.
See, I'm not exactly sure how long it's been on the charts either.
Yeah.
It doesn't say.
Hang on a minute.
I'm looking at it.
Reception and legacy. I know all the review sites. I mean, 5 stars, 4.5,
Yeah.
5 stars, 9 out of 10, 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5. I mean,
Yeah.
it's that type. Probably the lowest one is the Village Voice, and who the fuck is the Village Voice?
Does it say when they were at number 2, like what month and year?
No.
No, it doesn't say where I'm looking.
I'm not seeing anything.
It says "Light My Fire" hit number 1,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
"Breakout Through" was 126. That's crazy.
Isn't it?
That's crazy.
Okay, it peaked at number 2 in September of '67. So it was stuck behind Sgt. Pepper.
Oh, okay.
There you
Never
go.
mind.
Another
mean-
great album.
You can't.
There again,
you know what?
the Beatles.
That's okay, and that's okay, and that's all right. It doesn't take anything away from the album at all.
Nope.
Doesn't take anything away.
Nope. Because I mean, you're going against another great album.
Exactly. Maybe
Yeah.
Even better, yeah.
Absolutely.
one of the
Groundbreaking.
great, maybe the number 1 album.
Yeah.
You know, for some people,
Um,
we should do a show on that.
Yeah.
4
Dude, I love
times
the Beatles,
platinum.
man.
Trying to think, because Sgt. Pepper is one of the where'd it go? What the hell? That's one of the Summer Love albums. I think that was released.
Later on.
That was released in May.
Okay.
So that came out in May.
The Spring of Love.
Dude. Oh my God. I'm just thinking of like top 5 songs, 10 songs, my top 10 songs. And 2 of them are probably on that album. I mean, one of them is definitely on Sgt. Pepper's, and probably one of them is on this one. It's crazy. And it might not be the one I just picked that was my favorite. It might not. I don't know.
Yeah, don't even try to get me to pick my favorite song of the Beatles. There's just way too many.
Yeah, dude.
Same thing with the Doors. To be honest with you, dude, the Doors have like I said, every album of the Doors is like phenomenal, and it's hard to pick one great. So because, like I said, I really love the L.A. Woman album,
Mm-hmm.
and that whole album is just riddled with great songs.
That's what it was. Aldous Huxley.
Yep.
Nice. We should do that one day. Our top 10 songs, if that is even possible. You know how hard that people talk about albums, my 10 favorite albums, 10 albums to take on an island, right? Just think about your top 10 songs. How hard that is. Like you could start, but it's like then you start omitting some songs, and it's like, how can I take that out? And
especially when you like different genres. I like different genres too. So it's like,
me too.
That's almost impossible.
Me too, and or it's like I could only pick. How do I do this? Do I only pick one song from my favorite bands, or it might not even be a favorite band. It might just be a favorite song.
Yeah.
And it just hits you. I already have one of those. I could put in a few of those. It's hard, man. It's hard, and then it's like you do the list, and then it's like then you'll say your list, and it's like shit. I didn't even think of that one. It's like
yeah.
It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible.
All right. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Doors.
No brainer.
I mean, I think we've expressed our feelings on the album. It's just
groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Major Tom by Peter. Oh, Ground Control. Oh, dude, I love. That's actually Ground Control. That's the David Bowie one, right?
That's what I thought. I always thought that was Bowie.
No, that Major Tom by Peter Schilling. That's a different song, dude, and that song is awesome.
That's the one from the 80s, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That song is awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Goldfrapp. God, I haven't listened to Goldfrapp in forever. Yeah, it's impossible, Gore. It is. It's impossible. You'll leave out so many songs that it'll be so hard to dwindle it down to 10. We should try it, guys. I'm serious. We should try it. Yeah. I bet you our top 10s will be so different.
Oh,
it'll be so different.
It's impossible.
It would be fun to do, though.
Yeah. It's like, what are you going to leave out? It's almost what you're going to leave out is even more important than what you're going to put in at your top 10.
It's like trying to take something out of your house when it's on fire. What do you pick?
You know what? I'll end up getting burned, dude, because I'm going to be able to pick, dude. I'm burning. I'm on fire. I'm gonna be on fire.
So what I had in mind for the season, as I mentioned, this book, I'm going to embiggen myself.
Yeah, man.
This book, now, Unruly and I discussed this. We're not real thrilled with the order of some of the stuff, some of the albums. But it is what it is. It's going to work for the idea that I came up with. Cool. This is from Classic Rock Magazine, I think. Yeah. Classic Rock Magazine. I'm not a huge fan of lists, but as I said, it's going to work for my intentions. I put out a call on Instagram for a list of numbers or just random numbers, and I put them in. So this is how we're going to pick the not a video file. What the hell?
Jim, you'd be surprised. It's crazy the number that Steve picked and the album that he got. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Journey.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Come about random pick for Steve.
Yeah, Steve picked one and it was just perfect.
Oh, Steve picked Back in Black.
He picked Back in Black, man.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yep. So there was three albums that we had done before. One of them was Back in Black.
Oh, there's some good ones there, man.
I went through and in the opening of this book, there's a list of coulda, woulda, shouldas that didn't make the list. Their top 100. So I went through and I wrote the numbers, and so Harvest is what replaced. So Steve basically picked Harvest by Neil Young. The Doors was the other album.
You really?
I cannot stand Neil Young. I put an ice pick in my ears, man. Leonard Skinner said it right, man. Southern man don't need them around.
Don't need him around. I love that.
It's interesting that you say that, because Thin Lizzy's Jailbreak was one of the other ones that came up, and Second Helping is the alternate for that. But the other album is The Doors, which we're doing that right now. So I picked the alternate is a Black Crowes album, which I've never heard. The only Black Crowes I have ever heard is Hard to Handle.
Same
the
here.
Song?
Yep.
That really?
Yeah.
That's that. I don't remember the name of the song of that album. What's the name of the album? Do you remember, by chance? Hard to Hold. They also have that album's actually really good. That I used to listen to that album. I used to listen to Harvest too, Jim.
Uh-oh. Are we still
Shake
live?
Your Moneymaker was the name of that album.
Yeah, Shake Your Moneymaker, right?
Yep.
This one is the Southern Musical Companion or whatever. Where is it?
Yeah, right. Southern Harmony.
Yeah, Southern Harmony, a Musical Companion is the name of that. The one that was the alternate.
Maybe I know that. I don't know.
So
are all these that's in the wheel that you've written down is what people had when they did the random numbers, or is this how you?
Yeah, these were all the random numbers.
Man, there's a lot of good albums.
So we had Ziggy Stardust, great album. I love that album. Nevermind the Bollocks,
great
the
album.
Sex Pistols.
I love
Machine Head by Deep Purple, another great album. Jim, if it lands on this, you can excuse yourself if you wish. Harvest by Neil Young.
No, I'd give it a listen, man. I'd give it a listen.
There's a ton of albums
I'm
I've seen that I haven't heard
yourself
the album.
The Joshua Tree by U2. Oh, I guess I should say who picked them. Ryan, the comic guy, is who picked the number for Ziggy Stardust. My friend Alex Orbello, his number was Nevermind the Bollocks. Coffee Breath landed on Machine Head. Steve, of course, inadvertently picked Harvest. Cookie got the Joshua Tree. JB from Discovery Bay, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. My friend Chad Fisher, Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. John's Comics was Kids, Highway to Hell. We were just recently talking about this, Raul.
Which one? I'm sorry, I was reading Gore's
Highway to Hell.
Oh, okay.
Puff's number landed on Whitesnake album. Cardboard Crazy got London Calling.
Yes. Love that
Boat,
album.
yeah, how about it? I've been wanting to do that one too.
There's a lot of good albums.
Boat, your number landed on The Who's Tommy. J Hood's number was Nevermind by Nirvana. Metalhead's Comics picked, and it's the only Bob Dylan album on their list, Highway 61 Revisited.
Okay.
Comic Book Burrito is his number landed on the Black Rose album. Comics Addicts, Disraeli Gears by Cream. That's another one I've been wanting to do. CFAP landed on Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Gore, I was thinking the same thing. Gore, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking the same call.
What did I do? London Calling, yeah.
No,
not Whitesnake.
Not Whitesnake. I saw Whitesnake. I go, oh no. Bat Out of Hell.
The Boy Who Had Seven landed on Led Zeppelin's first album.
Nice.
Now we did 3, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we did it with Javi, right?
Yep.
Bearded Dragon landed on Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf. Next Kicks and Comics got Revolver by the Beatles.
Nice.
And Gray Man is who ended up inadvertently picking Second Helping. Super Lit, Master of Puppets.
Okay.
Unruly, and I shared this with you, Raul, that Axis Bold as Love. And he's been talking about this, and he expressed his disdain with this list because it's at number 69, and I wasn't happy with that either, but it is what it is. Biggie landed on Hotel of California. TMH 9.8, Aqualung by Jethro Tull. I'd love to do that album. That's a great album.
It is a good album.
Dun, 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 dun.
Poor Mike got Pet Sounds, Beach Boys.
Beach Boys, yeah.
And the Detroit Key Club, the White Album.
Oh,
so
mercy.
A heavy list. And
do you like the White Album, Bo? I mean,
yeah, really? Sure. That's one of the man. That album will take you for a mind ride too, because it's all over the place.
Dude, that might be my favorite Beatles album.
Really? It's a great album.
I freaking love the White Album, dude. There's songs on it that aren't my favorite, but I love that album, dude. That's probably my go-to Beatles album.
That's a good one.
But I didn't look through all the alternates, but there's a lot of albums on there I'd like to do, like Offspring Smash. God, I love that album.
Who's that? What album is that?
Huh?
Offspring Smash.
Offsprings.
The Offspring?
Smash.
You never heard of Offspring?
Yeah.
Come on. You probably heard them. You just might not know their name.
I've heard the band, The Offspring, right? That's I've heard them. I've never heard their whole album though.
Yeah, I can't say that I've heard the whole album either.
There's a couple of albums. There's a few albums on here that I've never heard the whole thing.
Yeah. Octone Baby is another one of the alternates in the list. So hopefully at some point we'll be able to do some of these.
I do like Octone Baby.
So to avoid rambling, we'll go ahead and pick the album. What do you do? Just click it?
I've never done it, so I couldn't help you.
Big money, and stop.
Bat Out of Hell.
Meatloaf.
We're gonna go all the way tonight. We're gonna go all the way tonight.
All right, so I guess Bat Out of Hell is the next album we're doing.
Me neither, Gore. Me neither.
Whoops.
Although I think there is one song on that album that I do love by Whitesnake.
There's a Scorpions album in the alternate score, Blackout, which I like that album. Blackout's a great album.
Look at Gore with Judas Priest.
Yeah.
Suggesting Judas Priest.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd love to do. There is Judas Priest. There is which album is it? Shit. I can't remember which album it is. There's a Judas Priest on the main list.
I saw them live back in the day, man. It was a good show.
I've never seen them. It had to be nuts.
It was
when they get their guitars and they start going, oh, that's gotta be crazy.
I'll have to see if I can find a master list and post it.
I love a few
for the
Judas Priest songs.
But if you post a master list, then people can't randomly pick something, and that, I mean, I guess it don't matter.
True. That's true.
I mean, once you pick, then you can like eliminate that from the list. Instead, and I don't know if you want to like erase the list once you do the Bat Out of Hell, erase the list and have another random pick, or just replace the one that you did with another random number.
Dude, I want to go listen
Good
to
question. I
Judas
could
Priest.
do that. I didn't even think of that. Oh wait, Judas Priest was on here at like number 20 or something like that. That's where it was. No, it's Black Sabbath. The Wall. Rush is at number 19. 2112. Maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, I guess we're doing Bat Out of Hell next. So, what do you want to do it in 2 weeks? Do you want to do it next week? What do you want to do?
I have to work next weekend, so I won't be available if you do it next weekend.
Me neither. Weekend after, I'm good. I should be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Bat Out of Hell in 2 weeks. What is that? October
9th?
the 9th? Okay.
Is it? Yeah, I believe it's the 9th.
I think so.
I'll tell you in a second.
I believe it's the 9th.
Yep.
10 o'clock is perfect. Heading out the highway.
Living after midnight. Walking through the door.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, what's cool about all that stuff, man? Little Boat, he's getting into all that type stuff, especially Iron Maiden.
Oh, he's discovered Number of the Beast.
Yeah, and he loves Peace of Mind. You know, Peace of Mind. Peace of Mind is my favorite album and stuff like that. But yeah, he's getting in deep into some of these like metal bands. You know, like Death. I bought him a Death vinyl, and I
never got into that. Never got into that.
I mean, he's getting into all kinds of stuff, which is pretty cool. You know, he's not just focused on one type of music. You know, because he's he's listened to the Beatles to
good
friggin' Cannibal Corpse.
Good. Good.
All right. I want to thank Gore for being in the chat, dropping the knowledge.
Yeah. Gore is a well of knowledge.
Jackson Roy Kirk for popping by. And Unruly for slipping in there at the beginning. So in 2 weeks, Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf. Classic album from the late 70s. Just that's one of those albums where sometimes you might feel like you shouldn't be listening to it.
or watching the video when
Yeah.
you're like
Yes, or
10,
watching the video.
or watching the video, or what? Paradise by the dashboard light. Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember when I was in high school, real quick. When I was in high school, we got a beta machine was given to us with a bunch of movies,
Uh-huh.
and there was a movie that was about Meatloaf, if I'm not mistaken. I remember seeing like a biopic on Meatloaf,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I always heard Bat Out of Hell and stuff like that, and the whole Rocky Horror Picture Show stuff.
Right.
But when I watched that movie and the dude that played him, the performance when he was recording some of those songs, it's like, and you actually go back and listen to Meatloaf sing, that dude has some pipes, man.
Right.
Holy cow. And
Yeah.
I've never heard any of his albums all the way through, so I'm actually kind of looking forward to this.
There's a lot of good songs on this album. This album was a major, massive hit, dude.
Yep.
Yes.
So I'm excited to hear it.
I'm trying to think of some of the songs now, and I'm having a hard time. So I'm excited to hear it again. I'm excited to hear it again.
All right.
Sounds good.
Well, as always, I want to thank Raul and Jim for being on.
Thank you.
A lot of fun doing this. I have a lot of fun doing this show. And stay tuned for the next episode of The Top. My guest is Cardboard Crazies. That's this Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern on this channel. Jim, do you have anything going on?
No, sir.
All right. What about you, man?
I'm actually on the 9th. The next time we're together, I'm actually going to be hanging out with Steve that day because I'm going to meet him halfway at Fort Myers.
Oh,
we're
that's
going to hang
right.
out, and then I'll be back in time for the show. So that's about it, man. I don't got nothing going on. Fantasy football, NFL football. Tomorrow the Raiders play the Dolphins.
Uh-oh. You get
Go
90 on
Raiders.
that.
Go Raiders. I'm playing Steve in 2 fantasy leagues. 2 different teams against Steve, so hopefully I do good against Steve. That's about it, man. Thanks for having me. It's a blast. It's a blast hanging out with y'all.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it too.
All right. Well, in the meantime, get out there and listen to some music.